Well, hello everyone. I'm Shawn Cheek of webpianoteacher.com. Today I'm going to show you how to play Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus with a really cool sounding chord progression that a lot of people use, and a lot of people don't realize it came from Michael W. Smith back in the day. So that worship album that he had that has 12 songs on it, actually 13 tracks, but he has Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus in it, and it's a really neat progression that everyone uses, and I wanted to show you that today. Okay, so let's take a look at it here. I got a chord sheet. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. All right, so there we go, guys. I just did 12 lessons on the whole worship album, Michael W. Smith's worship album, on the website, and I decided which one do I want to do for free on YouTube, and I decided this one. I took a little poll among my friends, and they all like this one, so that's what we're doing today. So just for $1, you can get on my website and watch all the other tutorials, download the sheets, learn the whole album if you want. It's a lot of fun. All right, so here we go. We're going to start in the key of D, okay? So I like all my praise and worship musicians to know what they're doing, not just what the chord is. So most of the time, the first chord will be the key that you're in, and it is in this case. It's the key of D. And so if you look on your circle of fifths, your primary chords are D, A, and G. The 1, 4, and 5 chord. D is 1, G is 4, A is 5. So can you play D, G, and A chords? If you can, you've won half the battle there. All right? So D, G, and A. So D, F sharp, A for the first chord. There's a D chord. We're just kind of looking at what chords we're going to expect. G, B, D is G, B, D. Okay, and I'm just playing an octave in the left hand for each chord. A, C sharp, E is the A chord. That's my 5 chord. 1, 4, and 5. And the reason I go through that every time before we do a praise and worship song is because those 3 chords are what you should expect, and they're always in there, the 1, 4, and 5. All right, so when you play something in the key of D, expect D chords, expect G chords, expect A chords. Now, we can have a lot of other things interesting in there, which we're going to have here, but those are kind of our foundation chords, okay? So we're going to start on turn. So I hope you know that a D chord has 3 letters, D, F, and A, and the F is sharped. In the key of D, every F and every C will be naturally sharped, okay? F sharp, C sharp. So instead of playing it this way, I'm going to play it like this, A, D, F sharp. That's an inversion of the same chord. See, there's the D chord, but I'm just going to bump the A down here, and I like to play it 1, 2, 4. So that letter tells me 2 things. It tells me what octave I'm going to play in my left hand and what chord I'm going to play in my right hand. A, D, F sharp, left hand D. I can even put the 5th in there, D, A, D. There's our first chord, okay? Turn your eyes. Now we're going to learn how to fill in a minute, but let's just get the basic chords. Turn your eyes. That's a wonderful chord. Listen to that. A7 sus. Now, what the heck does that mean, A7 sus? Well, A, when you see the letter A, always know A, C sharp, E is your basic chord. And anything extra is an addition to it. You're messing with, something else, but you have A, C sharp, E. So the 7, let's look at the 7 part first. So A7, all that means is we're adding a 7th to the chord. Here's A, C sharp, E. We're going to add a G to it, okay? And we're just going to do it this way, A, E, G. I'm going to leave the C sharp out because it's a little muddy that way. I'm just going to do that, okay? Now the sus part, so that I took care of the 7, A7, I got my G in there. The sus means suspension. Here's an A chord on top, C sharp, E, A. If I suspend the C sharp to a D, and I have D, E, A, it makes a beautiful chord. So I have A7 sus. So whenever you have A7 sus, now you know what to do, okay? And we start remembering these chords, and it makes it easier to play our praise and worship songs because these chords still keep showing up everywhere. And there's only, a few. Well, there's more than a few, but once you get them down, you can keep using them in everything you play. So if I add that to the D chord, so I have turn D chord, your A sus, A7 sus, upon. Now, I think the person who wrote this made a little mistake here. They put A sharp, diminished 7. I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing this. It's one note difference. A sharp diminished 7 works, but I'm hearing this, okay? So what this is, it's a fraction chord. So you have A sharp on the bass, okay? And then on top, you have an F sharp 7. So this is F sharp 7. Now, if you say, what's an F chord? FAC. You got to have FAC. I'm going to plug in some sharps in there, but FAC is the basic triad vocabulary of my chord. So I'm going to have F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp. When they're all sharped, it makes it a little easier to play, I think. So I'm going to play F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and I'm going to add the 7th, which is right there. Isn't that a beautiful chord? On G. Beautiful. Now, if you want to play a G to make it a diminished 7, but I don't think that's what he does. I think he does this. But it is another way to play it. All right. So turn your eyes upon G. Now we're going to do this next chord, B minor 7. And guys, make use of your pause button, okay? I'm not going to sit and wait live in the video for you to practice. You have to hit the pause button, work on stuff, and then you go forward. Maybe you need to rewind a little bit sometimes, okay? So what you need to work on are the chord changes. Anyone can play the chord once their fingers get on there. You need to work on getting from one position to the next without all this hands in the air, stuff, okay? So you practice this. You practice the move, move, move. You'll save yourself a lot of practice time if you can practice that way. Don't play the D chord and then go, okay, let's find out what this is. Then you'll always have that pause in there, and you're practicing the pause, and you don't want to do that. You want to go turn. I go right there. I get ready, and then I go. And then I go. Turn your eyes upon G. Now this one's a beautiful chord. B minor 7, 2, and I got a 2 in there. So what that means is always, don't let that scare you. You see the B, so you know what is the foundation of the chord, B, D, F. Now plug in your sharp. Is one of those sharp? Yes, the F is sharped in the key of D, so B, D, F sharp. Now I have the 7. I'm going to take care of the 7 first. Whenever you're trying to figure out a chord, it's kind of easier to do the 7 part first. So if I add a 7th to the chord, that's B, D, F sharp, A, okay? And so I'm going to go B, F sharp, A, and I'm going to leave this one out. You notice a lot of times I'll leave that one out just because it gets a little too muddy. It's like having a contraction, you know, like the word can't. You're leaving a letter out, but we get the idea, can't. And so when you're playing a chord, sometimes we'll leave a letter out, but we still get the idea, okay, because it's not so muddy that way. And the D's kind of understood. Now, in fact, I'm going to have a D in the right hand. Now, let's get the 2 part. So here I have D, F sharp, okay, in the right. The 2 means I'm going to go from B and go up 1 letter and add a 2, which is the C sharp. And it makes this beautiful chord. Hear that? It's dissonant. Now, don't hit it too hard. Don't go whack. Then it just sink into it. Isn't that beautiful? Now let's add it to our D. Turn your eyes upon G. I love this one. It's my favorite one. Listen to this. Sus. Woo, I love that one. That one just does something to your emotions there, right? I love that. That one's called an A minor 7 sus. Okay. Well, it's going to be a lot like the A7 sus. So we're going to start with that, and I'll show you what the A minor 7 sus is. So we did the A7 sus like that. Just take these and move them all down 1 white key. How's that for technical? Okay? So I still have a suspension. It's a different kind of a suspension, okay? But it's A, E, G, C, D, G. Okay? All right, so the D is suspended, we could call that. So that chord was not quite right the way it was written on the sheet, and I just altered it. And by the way, when you have chord sheets, they're usually never right, okay? I rarely find one that's right all the way through. Rather than writing the whole thing over again, which some of us try to do, find one that's pretty close, and then just correct it a little bit. That'll save you a lot of time. All right, so that's an E chord. Let's try it. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. I love that. A minor sus. Look full. So look only has 1 chord on it. And it's a D7, just a regular old D7. So what letter are we adding? D, F sharp, A, we're adding the 7th of a D chord, which is a C natural. and I'm just going to put that in the right hand. I'm going to do a left hand D, and I'm going to go A, C, F sharp. So I have all the letters D, F sharp, A, C. They're just mixed around to make it sound more pleasing to the ear. Okay? Look full and just a regular old G chord. What about that? All right. So B, D, G in the right, left hand on a G, D, G. And you may wonder, how am I deciding which inversion? Just whatever one is closest for me, because I want it to be smooth. I want to do the smoothest transition, and usually the smoothest transition is the one that's right next door, okay? So that's what you always want to look at, just what's the littlest movement possible? Full in his wonderful. Now let's add on the chord, though, because I want to go back and add on to what I've learned. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full. And remember, practice the changes. Always be thinking ahead. Don't be comfortable with the chord you're on. Be looking at the next one. Full in his one. Now, I'll show you something about E minor 7. It's going to be a lot like a G chord in the right hand and an E in the bass. In fact, that's what it is. And you call it, E minor 7, E, G, B, D. But a lot of times when you play a minor 7 chord, it'll just feel like you're playing a major chord in the right and down a third in the left hand. E minor, there's my E minor part, and then I have the 7 up here, B, D, G. And the wonderful thing about it is you don't have to move your right hand. You're already on the G. Look full in his wonderful face. All right, so now on face, guys, you may need to hit pause and work on that first part, and you don't move on until you get that part first, okay? So it's not that I'm going too fast. I'm not going too fast. It's that you need to go slower. You need to bite off less. Work on a few chords first, get that down, and then you go back. A lot of you aren't going to learn all of this in one day, maybe a couple of days if you really are working at it. All right? Face. So A7 sus. There's the 7. There's the sus because we already learned it. Face. And then I'm going to go. So face. Now on this goes ba, ba, and the. So I'm going to play 3 chords that lead me up to things. So I'm going to go and the things. Isn't that neat? So A7, I'm going to play this way. A, E, G, A, C sharp, E in the right. And then I'm going to do B minor 7. Okay, so I just make corrections. I just mark out what they had. Although I'm thankful for the person who uploaded and gave it their best shot. B, F sharp, A, D in the right hand. Sometimes less is more. You don't need a full chord there. Just that's enough. 4 notes. B, F sharp, A, D. That's the B minor 7. B, D, F sharp, A. And the things. Now for the A over C sharp, I'm going to go A, C sharp, E on the top. The C sharp octave on the left hand. So when you see a fraction chord like that, the one on top is the chord of the right hand. The one on the bottom is the single note that you play on the left hand. And the things. So I'm going to go face, 1, 2, and the things. So practice that. Face, and the things. Now there's my D chord, A, D, F sharp. Awesome. And a lot of the chords are going to repeat now. So not every one of them, but you're going to have a lot of the same stuff. Okay, so what do you always do? Go back to the beginning and add on to what you had. It's better to work on a few chords and get really good at that little piece than to try the whole thing and stink at it, because then you feel like you failed at the end. But if you say, man, I can play those 3 chords, I got them. All right, that's a better thing, right? We've heard line upon line, precept upon precept, hear a little, there a little. That's the key to learning, not just in the word, but in learning anything. Hear a little, there a little. That's most of your problems out there that want me to go slower and are complaining about the lessons because you're trying to bite off more than you can chew. Do a little here, a little there, and let that grow, okay? So pull in the reins on how much you're doing. Keep your excitement, keep your enthusiasm, but work and do a repetitions on a smaller section, okay? That'll help you. All right, let's go to the beginning now. Let's add on to what we have. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Almost missed the chord. Turn your eyes upon B minor 7, 2. Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face. Now on earth, we go to the next chord. Things of earth, A7 sus. We already know that one. Yay, we already know it. And the things of earth will go. Now there's our chord. I didn't rewrite it again, but it's that one up there. A sharp underneath an F sharp 7. Now if you like that diminished sound, go. Okay, I don't like it as much on this, but if you, all you do to change that is change the F sharp to a G natural. It works, it functions there, okay? Because when you harmonize stuff, there's a lot of choices all the time. So it doesn't have to be this way. You can make little changes according to what you like. All right, we'll go straight, and there we are. So we have this same progression that you had up there. We'll grow strangely dim. So the D7 over A, I need D, F sharp, A, C. So I have it. I'm going to go C, D, F sharp in the right hand, A, F sharp, A in the left. That A just means I want A on the bottom. Okay? Go straight. So that's why I'm going to do that one. You got it? C, D, F sharp, A, F sharp, A. Go. Let's see. We'll go strangely dim. On dim, G2, what do you think that is? Whenever you see a 2, all that means is you look at the letter that's written there, the chord, and you go up one letter in the alphabet, and that's the note you're adding. So if it's G, what am I adding? What's after G? If you go higher on the keyboard, right, it goes back to A. So you're adding an A, and you're adding it close here. You're not doing a ninth like this. You're just adding it right here. So it's G, D, G, A, B, D. And it makes a nice, pretty chord, okay? And the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light, in the light. Now, in the is pretty. You ever heard that chord? That's beautiful. You know what that is? It's called a minor 4. You can add that in all over the place once you learn how to do it. Just whatever key you're in, go to the 4 chord and then make it minor because it's usually major. The 4 chord in the key of D is a G. We've already talked about that at the beginning. So if you make that middle note the B flat, so it's now G, B flat D instead of G, B, D, then you have a minor 4. And you can make it even prettier by adding an E in there. That makes it a half diminished, but I won't overload your brain here with that. But if just make a note that if you want to add an E in there, and that makes it pretty. And the light. Now, light is a D chord over an A bass. So remember the fraction chord. What do? The top one is the chord in your right hand. The bottom one is the octave in your left hand. So it's D in the right. I need a D chord, D, F sharp, A, however I want to do that. But I need an A bass because the bass makes it sound different, okay? Da-da-da, because that bass goes bum, bum, and the light of his glory. I love this one. This is a G chord over an A7. All right, so a lot of times when you have a complex chord like that and you have a 7, your left hand can take care of it by doing this. Remember, we've done this several times. A, E, G. You learned something today about that. A7, A minor 7, A sus 7, all the blah, blah, blah. A lot of it can be taken care of by just doing that. A, E, G. Now, the G on top is just a G chord. B, D, G. And you have that. Glory and. So there's my G over A7. Glory and. Now I'm going to do an A7, just a regular A7, so I don't move my left hand, and I go A, C sharp, E, and grace, and I end on the D chord, F sharp, A, D, D, A, D in the left hand, okay? In the light of his glory and grace, and then to repeat back, I can do this. This is not written there, but I can go A chord, a 7, so G, I can do this chord. G over A7, A7, bum. That's a good turnaround to start it again. Grace, bum, bum, turn. Now, let's go through it all the way kind of slow. And this is one that's kind of lends itself to learners and beginners because you can kind of take your time. You can go, turn your eyes upon G. See, I'm taking all that time, and I'm taking time to find the chord. So you can kind of slow down and you know, just kind of like jazz musicians when they're just tinkling all by themselves. And you can take that extra time when you're finding the chord, but you can call it being musical, you know, if you get my drift. All right, so turn your A7, F sharp, because I'm going to show you how to add some stuff to that. So this is a little above beginner. Maybe if you're a high-level beginner, you know, these chords are within your realm, your reach, or if you're just so dedicated. Some people are just so, you know, dedicated and so zealous about learning that they overcome all obstacles just from their mere will to learn. So, but if you're maybe more intermediate, I'm going to show you how to add some stuff to that. I call it soft thumbs, and it's where we begin to add little notes. But the key to those notes, guys, is you're already playing them, okay? So now I'm just going to show you what that would sound like. I'm just going to play, turn your eyes upon Jesus, full in his wonderful grace. And the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Now, mostly of what I did add a few little things here and there, but not much at all. Mostly it was just playing the notes I was already on in eighth notes, but you have to make those extra notes softer, okay, for it to sound right. So you play the strum beats, and for some reason vocalizing that, even though I sound silly, helps you to do it with your hands. Listen again. I translate that to the keyboard. See? Now, here's our problem. A lot of you out there, I'm teaching for 40 years, okay? So I know what I'm doing. But a lot of you are going, slow down. I want to copy exactly what you just did there and slow it down. But guys, when you say that, what you're telling me is you're trying to be what I call a copycat robot. You're not trying to learn the skill that I'm trying to teach you so that it comes out of you, out of your soul, and you do your thing, which is like mine, but all unique to yourself. You're trying to copycat robot someone else exactly like they do in a moment of time. And you think if you do that, it's going to teach you that skill. It absolutely is not going to teach you that skill. I'm trying to get it to come out of you. And the way we do that is not for you to copycat robot every little single note I'm doing. It's to teach you how to do it so it comes out of you. And to do that, we need to count to three. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. You just need to play the notes. You say, well, which ones? Well, I already told you, the ones you're already on. And you say, well, what order? It doesn't matter. I can do them in any order I want as long as I'm on the right chord and I change at the right time. It's like whack-a-mole, okay? You know what whack-a-mole is. And as long as all the moles are part of the chord, it doesn't matter which one you hit. It really doesn't. I could do it a zillion different ways every time, and it would still sound okay as long as it's part of the note of the chord, and I change to the next one on time, okay? It really doesn't matter. That's why people that are, musicians, they play it differently every time, and they don't know what they did after they finish because they're in the moment. So that's what I'm trying to teach you is that skill of being in the moment. 1 and 2 and 3. A good way to start is just kind of rolling it up. 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 3. So what I'm hoping you'll do, what will teach you the skill is to sit down and experiment. Yes, listen to me, but sit down and experiment. Da, 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 ba. And it'll be maybe a disaster at first, but then it won't be after a while. But you have to try it long enough, okay? You have to play it lots and lots of times, okay? So that's where that'll come out of you, where we turn on that inner drum machine that God put in all of us. It's a rhythm thing, okay? It's not a knowing all the little bitty notes thing. That's not going to do it. That's why the piano apps and the falling blocks method is ruining everyone's chance to become a musician, because you're being a copycat robot copying a computer program instead of having the music come out of you and well up within you, because that's what real musicians do. All right? So when you play this, da 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 da, 1 and 2, full in his wonderful faith, and the things of earth will grow strange. chord. And right? So which would you rather do? Would you rather be able to copycat robot something that's amazing, and then you can play that one song, and that's all you can do? Because it doesn't help you in other songs, does it? No, it helps you in that one thing if that's how you're doing it. Or would you rather learn how to turn on that inner drum machine, that inner musician inside you, so that you can play not just this song, but every song this way? That's the difference, okay? That's the difference. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'm going to put some free ones on YouTube. The great majority is on the website, and for $1, you can do the whole album here, Michael W. Smith, and check it out. But I started a whole praise and worship section. I'm looking forward to doing more hymns, more praise and worship stuff. Please put in the comments what you'd like to see, and I might do it. But it was a lot of fun. Talk to you guys later.